Welcome to part 2 of this starting from scratch Football Manager 2015 experiment featuring PSG. If you missed part 1, make sure you go and check that out first. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But essentially what I did was I removed all the players over the age of 18 from PSG and the manager as well, Laurent Blanc, and holidayed a year to see what would happen. And they were actually relegated from the top tier in France. In this part 2, I'm going to holiday 3 years in total, although we'll look at each year in a bit more detail so you can see what's been happening. So, at the end of the 2015-16 season, we can see PSG have in fact gone up as champions of Ligue 2 in France, 3 points ahead of Enavant de... whatever they're called, Guingamp, I don't know how to pronounce him properly, but they have gone up. Only 4 defeats all season, 78 goals scored, 40 conceded. They had the 2 top average rating players. They had a Sombolonga in the team with the 2nd top scorer. Let's go and have a look at PSG then. They've now got a different manager, Oleg Luzinl. Oh dear, I'm not got off to a good start here, have I? He has been in charge for almost a year. Sadiq Advocate he actually retired from management at the end of last season, so that's why they replaced him. Not the fact that he did a poor job. So this is the team. Let's have a look at the top scorers. So a Sombolonga top scorer. We've got Eden Ben Bassat with 17 goals as well, and assists wise, Mitchell Zyro top with 11. Let's have a quick look at the transfers to see what they did over the past year. Wow, £72 million spent. Their top signing was Bakayoko from AS Monaco. So he's dropped down a division to go to PSG. Sombolonga was bought for 12.5 million from Nottingham Forest. And then a few sort of players between 1 million and 5 million spent, but 72 million. They've had to do it, haven't they? And last year they obviously suffered from financial fair play. This year they've not got as many restrictions. They're able to just sign more players now because obviously at the start of the last part 1, they had already made their signings throughout the summer, and then I just released all the players, which is why they had problems with that. They sold one player, in fact, and quite a few players left on a free. So yeah, they bought a good enough squad to go up. I just saw Van den Boer was signed as well, the Belgian guy, Football Manager legend. And this squad was enough to get them promoted back to the top tier. We'll just have a quick look at the fixtures before skipping ahead to the next season. At the end of the 3 seasons, I'll look at some of the other tournaments like Champions League and that sort of thing, see what's been happening, and maybe look at some of the ex-PSG players to see where they are. Okay, so their first season back in the top division went rather well for PSG, 3rd in League 1. They've still got the same manager, and they're still rich, 4-star reputation. So let's look. Monaco won the league. Nantes actually won it last year. Lyon finished 2nd and PSG 3rd, ahead of Lille and Marseille. So they've done rather well there. Not Lacazette, who am I looking at? PSG, they didn't have any top scorers there. Average rating wise, they had 2 players in there and a couple players in the assists rating as well. Oh, Yuri Tielemans and another Belgian. They're really signing Belgians, aren't they, for this team to get them back up there. What better nation to go to? So this is the squad. You can look down the list. Oh, there's another Football Manager legend there. Carlos Fierro was signed. Top scorer, only 11 goals, and it was Carlos Fierro, in fact. Let's have a look at him. I can't actually believe it. They've also signed Eric Torres. Unbelievable. They're signing Football Manager legends everywhere here. What is going on? Yuri as well, and they signed Van den Boer previously. I don't know where he is here. I can't see him. That's amazing. Assists-wise, Yuri Tielemans 15 assists and Carrasco as well with 12. Wow. Stephen Corker, they've got him. Let's look at the transfers then. This is getting interesting actually. 106 million spent this year. They sold 14.75 million pound worth of players. They sold a Sombolonga to Monaco for 12.5 million. How did he do there? He's now a French champion. He only scored twice all season for Monaco after impressive last year for PSG. Top signing for PSG was 32 million for Carrasco from Monaco. They're really swapping a lot of players here, aren't they? Carlos Fieri, 10.75 million as well. Yuri coming from Anderlecht for 8.75 million. And Lucas Anderson, another guy from a few years ago, was it FM12, FM13 possibly, where he was a really good young Danish player who turned into a world beater. They're really signing some Football Manager legends here. This manager, the Ukrainian manager, is actually pretty good, in my opinion, for signing these guys. So here we go. This is their fixtures. See how well they did in the cups. They actually won the Coupe de la Ligue against Monaco, 1-0 in the final, with Julien Fosseria getting the winner. So a very successful season back in the top flight for them. They've obviously spent a lot of money to get this team, but I've actually liked the players they've signed. They've not signed the typical big name players you'd expect. They've signed some really good young gems and Football Manager legends in a way. I'm not sure we can call them legends because they're all quite young, but FM wonder kids, I guess. And yeah, that's made me happy actually, seeing that. So we'll go one more year in this part and see if they can win the league. I guess if they win the league, that would be the end of this. If they don't, then maybe you'll want to see a part 3. So in their second season back in the top flight, the third season of this episode, they finished third again. Lyon actually won it this year round. Monaco down in 4th place. They have a different manager now. They got Paulo Sousa. So I wonder where the Ukrainian guy went. He was actually sacked after 2 years, almost 3 years in charge. And this is the squad. Yuri still at the top there, assists wise. Goals wise, Lorenzo Insigne 20 goals, and Carlos Ferreira 18 as well. Carrasco up there as well. They've got some good players. They've got Envilla, Kulka still, Douglas Costa's in there, Carlos Vila. Wow, they've obviously spent a lot more money once again. Let's just have a quick look at their transfers. So 122 million spent this year. That is ridiculous how much they've spent the last 3 years. They have money and they're really spending it, aren't they? Huge amounts of money, and it's not just one massive signing for 80 million. They're actually spending 20 million on a couple of players, and 10 to 15 million on a few other players. Fixtures wise, let's see how they did they got into the Euro Cup, and how did they do? Did they get into any French Cup semi-final? They got to Euro Cup first knockout round. They were actually lost against Arsenal in that one. So let's have a look at some of the European tournaments. Start with the Euro Cup. Last few years, Benfica, Villarreal, Man City and AC Milan have won it. This year against Liverpool. But the Champions League, Bayern, Chelsea and Juventus this year beating Man United on penalties. Before we look at some of the ex-PSG players just out of interest, I want you to let me know if you want a part 3. Now leave a like if you've enjoyed this part, but if you want a part 3, click on the straw poll in the description below and just simply vote yes you want a part 3 or no you don't. If it's yes, then I'll do a part 3 and move on to another team. If it's a no, then I'll just move on to another team straight away and maybe do another starting from scratch with a different team. You can let me know suggestions for teams in the comment section below. I was thinking maybe Juventus next. They're a big Italian team. So Ibrahimovic at the age of 36 is still at Real Madrid. So he's been there 4 years now. And still getting plenty of goals every year actually. And Cavani still at Atletico Madrid, scoring plenty of goals. Let's just have a quick look at La Liga. Oh, they actually won it this year as well. Real Madrid won it the last 3 years. Maybe that's what you get for signing David Luiz. Although David Luiz has actually moved to Liverpool from Barcelona now for 9 million. What's happened in the Premier League? Man United won it twice, Arsenal and Man City. Matuidi's actually dropped down to the Castilla team, the Real Madrid B team. Pastore still at Juventus, looks like he's a major part of that team as well, with 42 appearances. Thiago Silva's now 33, but he's still at Man United. And not playing too many games now, he's starting to reach his mid-30s. This is one player I forgot to look at last time around, Lucas Moura. He's actually at Chelsea. 25 years old now, the Brazilian, and yeah, he's done okay. He's not done brilliantly actually, to be honest, since moving to Chelsea. Sirigu's actually stayed in Greece, which I just find a bit of a surprise. He's a brilliant goalkeeper. I'm not sure why he's over there. But there we go. So that is pretty much the end of this part. It is the end of this part. Thank you for watching part 2. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed it. Like I said, in the straw poll, just click yes or no if you want a part 3. I'm not offended if you don't, because I know we've pretty much seen that PSG have recovered. But if you want to see them win the league, I can holiday another 3 years and see if they do properly recover and win the league, and maybe see how they do with this team of young FM wonder kids who are now entering their prime, I guess. So there we go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.